Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward. I'm your host, Zander Sprague. I'm so happy you're joining me today. I have a great, dare I say, epic show planned for you today. I wanted to start off with my thought of the day. Consistency beats intensity. Think of it this way. If you do one push-up a day, that is so much better than just doing one workout overnight once a month. If you wrote 300 words a day, at the end of the year, you'd have a book. And, being consistent, those small actions are really going to pay off because that is what's going to get you to your epic goal. Now, our update today is about me, and it's not so much an update as it is an epic dream of mine. For as long as I can remember, I have dreamed of being a private pilot. Have I started on that? Not yet, but perhaps with my guest today, I might be one step closer to pursuing that epic dream of being a private pilot. Now, with that said, I want to welcome Rashid Yaha. Rashid, tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Rashid Yaha. I'm the owner and president of Pacific States Aviation, which is located right here in Concord, at Concord Airport. And we really specialize in professional flight training and recreational flight training. So people who want to fly for fun, we do it for them, and people who want to fly for a career, we also train them.
Definitely.
I have been flying for more than 30 years, 10,000 plus hours. I did all my flight training in US, so I'm local, and I've flown pretty much all over US, and I have flown in different countries also.
That's awesome. And we're going to talk a lot about the aviation.
Sure.
But you do have a fascinating story, and I would love to hear it.
Absolutely. So, as I said, I did all my training here, but I came, from India originally. Actually, I started as a student at a flight school and kind of climbed the ladder of becoming a ground instructor there, and the flight instructor there, and the assistant chief flight instructor, and the director of operation. And then wanted to kind of go into establishing my own flight school and own aviation business. I come with engineering background also. After about 20 years ago, decided I'm going to do this on my own. And kind of went on a path of looking for a aviation business which may not be doing very well.
Right.
And kind of build that. So we came over here with my partner. We took over Pacific States Aviation. There was not much flight training going on at that time, but due to my networking overseas, we started marketing for international students as well as domestic students, and we grew from about 15 to 20 students to about 120 students.
Wow.
We increased the fleet of the aircraft, simulators, and so we kept going on. And the COVID hit, and so that was also very challenging. But we are training a lot of domestic students currently, and most of my flight instructors, go and fly for the airline.
Definitely.
So it is an interesting, I started as a flight instructor, but kind of became a business owner.
Sure, definitely.
So, but I love what I do. I'm very passionate about, flying and teaching.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And, as I said in my intro, I've been fascinated by flying. I've been flying since I was, honestly, like 2 years old. I went on my first jet. I've been in GA aircraft a lot and always loved the whole, just fascinated by it. One of the things when people think about being a private pilot is it is definitely a pilgrimage to get to your private pilot's license.
Absolutely.
And-
It's the first part which is very important is you have to be passionate about it and love to do this. Of course, there's studying involved, and books and a little bit of aerodynamics and weather and airspace. For a lot of people, flying the airplane becomes easier because they want to do it.
Right.
There's a lot of studying involved, time commitment, financial commitments, but we provide, a planning to do this. If somebody wants to do it full time, we plan it for 3-4 months to get your private pilot.
Right.
Somebody is doing part time, how do you get it done? So we kind of create a roadmap for them.
Absolutely. And, as I've done a lot of research on, and more so recently, just like, okay, what exactly is involved? How do I have to, what time do I need to be able to reasonably set aside? And things that I know, for example, is if I could only fly once a week, I could get my private pilot's license,
Sure.
but it's going to take a really long time. It's actually going to probably be more expensive because I'm going to have to go back and redo lessons because, oh wait, I forgot how to do that.
Absolutely. So depending, first part is, take a discovery flight, figure out, you want to do this, get your FAA medical done. Those are like the minimum requirements. You can start anytime you want. And then kind of plan out, I'm going to do this full-time or part-time. Based on that, definitely, people can do it in 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. But you need to plan your days. It does, if you do a lesson, it does take up half of your day.
Yep.
Which includes maybe a ground session with your instructor and a flight, and then self-studying.
Yep.
So it's a commitment in a week. If you're working, or if you're retired, or if you're going to school, you need to really plan your personal calendar.
You do. Absolutely. And also, it is awesome, but it's also a financial commitment.
Financial commitment.
And in the research I'm doing, sources have said, try and make sure you have that pretty well covered.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to be halfway through, run out of money, and then say, I got to stop.
Right. And it's just like playing any sport, you got to continuously play it, continuously practice it. So, and mostly, I would say 80% of the students who take a break is due to financial issues.
Yeah.
And then you lose motivation and you're waiting. So plan that out, get it done. It's the best thing in the world.
It really is. And so you mentioned that you have 10,000 hours of flying.
Yes.
That is impressive.
Thank you.
What are your type ratings?
Yeah, so I have mostly I have flown general aviation aircrafts from small Cessna 152 to a turbine aircraft.
Okay.
Certain turbine aircrafts require type rating, certain aircrafts don't require type rating. My passion and my love is to teach, and most of the teaching is done in a 4-seater or a 6-seater aircraft, from single engine to multi-engine aircraft.
Got it.
So of course turbine aircrafts are like King Airs,
Yeah.
which I use for charter. I've flown those. But the most fun I have is flying these Cessnas.
Yeah, definitely. And you own one.
Yes, I do, and you have seen one.
I have.
Yeah.
And for you, what are some of the best parts of general aviation?
Yeah, general aviation, they say that mile of freeway can only take you to one destination. Mile of runway can take you anywhere in the world you want. That's the best part. I think with general aviation, it's the freedom.
Yeah.
It's an adventure along with the freedom. You can go in the United States. Actually, within 50 miles of Concord Airport, we have 55 small airports.
I know, it's amazing.
So you can, Half Moon Bay, I'm going to go in the valley. So the freedom is the fun part, because one day I could go on weekends sometimes, and I think, where would I go? I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go north, and fly over Lake Berryessa and just kind of, enjoy the view.
Definitely.
If you think about going in a car, as I don't want to drive, it's like 3 hours to get there and all that. So it's the freedom, you have that, oh, I want to go have a burger tomorrow at Harris Ranch. A steak.
Yeah.
So I think the most fun part is the freedom
Definitely.
you get.
Definitely. And, sadly, there's a lot of pressure on general aviation here in the United States. And, for those who don't know, general aviation is all the private pilots. And we are very lucky here in the United States that, in general, aviation is accessible to all. Yes, there is a high cost of
Absolutely.
to do it. However, in other countries in Europe, it's incredibly hard just to be a private pilot. It's
Absolutely.
incredibly expensive. It's there's all kinds of restrictions of what you can do. We can fly almost anywhere. Yes, there are a few areas. Obviously, you can't fly over military bases.
Yeah. Which is okay. I mean, so restrictions is the key. I've flown in India, Taiwan, other countries, and there are so much airspace restrictions.
Yeah.
I usually tell because originally I'm from India, and I tell them, if you can drive in India, you can drive anywhere in the world.
I've
Because
been in
it's
India.
really,
I've
and it's
been
really
in India, and I would say yes.
And I say, if you can fly in United States, you can fly anywhere in the world.
Sure.
So that is something, it is crowded, but it's freedom, and the airspace is not that restricted.
Right.
That's the fun. So you can go to, and you can, if you can land at San Francisco Airport. Of course, you have to get the permission. You can land at Oakland Airport.
Right. Definitely. And there's one of the cool things is that I've learned is that there's so many aircraft types out there, and even though we think, oh, a 1960 Cessna, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a really old aircraft. Well, it is. However, they are truly built to last.
Absolutely.
And if they're taken care of, or you buy one and you do a little work on it, it is completely safe for you to fly.
Absolutely. They were built very strong. If you follow all the inspections in a timely manner, and replace the parts, in time, these things can actually 25 to 30 years is nothing on an aircraft life. I mean, they're young.
And it's all measured on time on the airframe. So
Correct.
it's you could have a plane that's 50 years old, but doesn't have that much time actually on the aircraft. The same way that you could have a car from 1950 that has 30,000 miles on it. So you're like, oh, I get that
Exactly.
not a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah, and they keep going, and if you keep maintaining the aircrafts,
Definitely. So Pacific States Aviation, aside from teaching people how to fly, there's more to it, isn't there?
There is. There are 3 departments or businesses, so you can call it businesses within one business.
Sure.
Of course, Flight Academy, which is an FAA-approved flight academy, is majority, part of Pacific States Aviation. Then we have a FAA-approved aircraft repair station, which is basically a maintenance facility to inspect and fix aircrafts and do all the inspections. We can do from any Cessna till turbine aircraft.
Okay, cool.
And some other instrument inspections and things like that. And then the other part is the FBO. The FBO stands for Fixed Base Operator. It's a big gas station, basically. So we have big tanks, we store fuel, Jet A, 100 low-lead. Of course, we're getting the unleaded now. And then we put that in the fuel trucks and then sell around the airport or the aircraft, the jets coming and landing at Concord Airport, and we sell them. So part of that business. And we hangar the aircrafts also for storage for private jets and private owners.
Definitely.
So kind of we have everything pretty much within one business.
Absolutely. Now, this is probably an unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure.
What is your favorite aircraft?
That's a great one. My favorite, and which I've never flown, of course. I love SR-71. It was, I don't know if
I know that's the Blackbird.
That's the Blackbird, and that is my favorite aircraft. Of course, I will never get a chance to fly it,
Right.
but to watch, I've read about it. Actually, it was supposed to be. The title was not SR but RS-71, and when the president announced it, he actually made a mistake and said SR-71 and say, should we change the name or correct the president? Yeah. No, let's not correct the president. So yeah. SR-71 Blackbird is my favorite aircraft. Flying wise, I'm a big fan of Cessna aircraft.
Yep. Cessna is, used in the majority of flight schools.
Majority of the flight school all over the world, not just in the United States.
Right. And you have a 172?
I have my personal aircraft is 172 RG, which has like retractable landing gear.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And let's take a moment and talk about, some people may know about this, may not. Obviously, older aircraft have the steam gauges, so just the round gauges. Right. Now, lots of aircraft, if you've ever peeked into a modern jet as you're getting onto the plane, you see they have what we call a glass cockpit. It's all computer screens and stuff. What are your feelings about the glass age?
Yeah. We don't have a choice. It is going to transition.
Yeah.
We transition from landline to cell phones.
Yeah.
And better, phones, and then phones have cameras.
Yeah.
So we are going to transition, especially in general aviation. The larger jets already have the glass cockpit.
Yeah.
So for training aircrafts, what they've done is people flying the round gauges. Mm-hmm. We still have those. You should learn on them. And then we transition them to the glass cockpit, which is basically 2 laptop screens.
Yeah.
And it is pretty much a replica of a modern jet you would fly, the cockpit, which is called the primary flight display and multifunction flight display. So the logic behind it is that if they are going to an airline and they're going to fly the glass cockpit, let's start training them in glass cockpit. Because the Boeings, 60s and 70s had round gauges.
Yep.
So they had round gauges for training aircraft. And now we have transitioning. So it's a great avionics, a lot of automation. And but we kind of try to balance as a flight school, we try to balance and not use much of an automation or autopilot, and we let the students kind of work things out. Use your brain,
Definitely.
But having automation is cherry on top,
Absolutely. Now, one thing I learned a couple of years ago, which I was sort of surprised, and I guess it's because I grew up here with, I'll call it American aviation, was I think it was an Air France plane that crashed going from Brazil to Paris, crashed into the ocean.
Yep.
And they determined that part of the challenge was that when all of the flight computers went out, the pilot actually didn't know how to fly the aircraft.
Yeah.
And I was reading some articles, and they said in Europe, a lot of the pilots are engineers or math or whatever, which is very important.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they didn't actually have what we call stick and rudder, which is what you're
exactly.
teaching, which is how to actually fly the air. Yeah, it's great, all the automation, the autopilots,
Absolutely.
all of that. I was just made the assumption, because here in the US, you have to start off in a Cessna or a similar small aircraft. You actually have to know how to do that before you get to step up.
Absolutely, that's the traditional way, and we still do that in the United States. And I think that is the way things are supposed to be done.
Again, it was always my assumption that the pilot actually knew how to fly.
Exactly. So, but things, as I said, things are changing, and the simulation has improved so much, the virtual, that, of course, there are the full flight simulators where pretty much it's the cockpit of any airliner.
Yep.
So now you can do takeoffs and landing, and the way the certifications are going is that it's called MPL, multi-pilot crew licensing, which you will, if somebody is flying a airliner, they will only learn that type of aircraft.
Right.
And is it accepted by the FAA? No. A lot of other countries have done that. It is coming, but there will definitely be actual flying, and you will have to learn the stick and rudder skills.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, because I mean, again, automation is great.
Yeah.
But if you don't actually know how to do it, and obviously, I do a lot of reading about aviation and talking or reading about people who are commercial pilots, professional pilots, and they decide that they want to get their own aircraft, but they haven't actually flown stick and rudder for 10 years. Nothing against them, but they're like, it's kind of like going back to the beginning.
Right.
And I get that, right? It's, if you, like any skill, you can learn it, but if you're not using it.
Yeah. There's autopilot landing, and some airlines, after certain auto landings, you have to do certain, hands-on flying for an airliner, regardless what you're flying. I have a lot of airline pilots, of course, who are my students and friends, and they come and rent the Cessnas from us and say, "We just want to fly the airplane."
Yeah,
I said, you do that? No, we want to fly a real airplane.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the part they miss while flying, the airliners.
Yeah, I remember this is going back to last century. I was flying over to Hong Kong, and it was pre 9/11. So I was able to actually go talk to the pilot. We were flying. I was able to go into the cockpit, and which was honestly was so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm on a 747, and I'm talking to the pilots, and one of them said, "Yeah," he goes, "honestly, after takeoff and until we get to landing, we're just kind of computer jockeys."
Yeah.
I mean, there's wonderful amount of redundancy and automation.
Yeah.
And he actually got a phone call and had to turn the plane, like 10 degrees or something. He just turned a knob in this whole 747.
Yes.
Just this one little knob just turns to the left 10 degrees.
Yeah, it is all automated. You don't, once they take off now, I mean, after, I don't know, maybe 500, 800 feet, you can turn the autopilot on, and the flight management system basically has all the information.
Yeah.
And then do it. Yeah, I did the same thing. This was before 9/11, of course, in the cockpit of a Singapore Airlines 747.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I told them, I was doing my training that time. I had my commercial license.
Right.
And he said, yeah, come on in. And put me on a jump seat, sitting and observing. I was there for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's so cool.
But it was pitch dark over the Pacific Ocean.
Right. I was up there. I was in there probably for 15, 20 minutes. And I told that story to someone who doesn't understand. They go, "Oh my God, I mean, weren't you disturbing them?" I'm like, no, honestly, I think they welcomed that there was someone to talk to, because the computer is flying the airplane, and so fascinating.
It is.
You love the Cessna. How about a twin?
A twin, I think from general aviation, I've flown the Beechcrafts,
Mm-hmm.
the Pipers. I like the Beechcraft, actually, to be honest. Of course, we don't use it anymore at the flight school, but previously I used to fly. Very sturdy, very stable. It was a light twin, 2-engine, and it was a Beechcraft Duchess.
Okay.
A lot of hours in there, and great training aircraft, but also, stable and safe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that was one of my favorite ones. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, something that, depending on where you fall on it, the the Cirrus parachute system.
Uh-huh.
On the one hand, really great that you can pull a lever, gigantic parachute will help float
Yep.
you to the ground should something go wrong. But there are the aviation purists who go, no, you should be able to get that plane, even if you're going off airport. It's your job to get that plane down.
Yeah, so I was a Cirrus instructor, actually. I got my CSIP and I was trained, and I trained in Cirrus a lot of pilots who owned privately.
Yeah.
We used it for school flight training a little bit, but it was on a little bit more expensive, and a little bit.
Definitely.
But yes, so the idea about the parachute is, and this is, the pilots think this way. I don't want to use the parachute because I can fly if there's an emergency, and if there's a field or another airport,
Right.
I'm going to make it. Cirrus says pull the chute. Okay, so I want to balance this and differentiate, and maybe that's how they came up with the idea. Is like you're flying over mountains and terrains and a lot of bushy areas. Where are you going to land?
Oh, absolutely.
So the idea, I think, behind it is pull the chute and you'll just drop down, but slowly,
Right, you'll
in a
float
controlled
down, yeah,
way.
exactly.
And the impact is not going to be bad, and
You have a
you'll
good
be
chance of
okay.
walking
Well,
away.
I've talked to a lot of Cirrus pilots who had engine issues and emergency, and they're like, no, the airport's right there, runway's right there, I can make it. And they've done it. So, it's not if you have a problem, but the runway is right there, I'm going to go land because I know my skills.
Right.
Definitely.
What would you say for people interested in getting their starting their flight journey? What are the top things that you wish that people knew before they started?
Yeah, I think it's some are passionate and love it. Like you, you don't think usually like I just want to fly because I love it.
Yeah.
Some think about the glamour job as a pilot, things like that. Some think, oh, I'm going to fly this simulator for 1,000 hours and I will know how to fly the aircraft. It's not. So the first thing that you want to do is visit a flight school, or if a friend has an airplane and take a flight.
Yep.
Take a discovery flight, a fun flight, whatever you want to call it. The instructors will show you around the aircraft. You take off. Of course, they won't let you land, but
No.
get to fly straight and level in the air. You can do a lot of things, and see how you feel. Is this something you want to do? 99.9% of the people, when they take a flight and come back, they say, I want to start my flight lessons.
Right.
But I think the step one is go look at the small aircraft. They think the aircrafts are a cockpit of airliner, big one. But they're not. They're
No, they're
tiny,
not.
small,
Yeah.
So look at the airplane, take a tour of a flight school, go backseat if you can with your friend, or take a discovery flight. That's the first thing you want to do.
Definitely.
And the second thing you want to do, make sure you're, physically good to do this, and get your FAA medical.
Absolutely.
Those are the two things.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in. Honestly, such an epic conversation. I was so excited to have you in.
Well, thank you for having me.
How can people find you?
Well, I'm right here at Concord Airport, Pacific States Aviation. Phone number, I can give you the phone number.
Is there a website they can go to?
The website is PSA, Papa Sierra Alpha, Flight, FLIGHT.com.
Cool.
Just click on there.
I want to thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Really a fun conversation. And I want to remind everyone that if you're ready to begin your epic journey, go to epicbegins.com. And remember that epic choices lead to the epic life that you want.